Hi, and welcome back to the Real Tea on PMP, where we talk all things pregnancy and postpartum. If this is your first time joining, thank you for listening. If this is your second or third time, welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. So today's episode is very special to me because I'm here with my friend Michelle. Thank you for joining. So
Yes.
Michelle is a talent manager for an influencer marketing company. She's a wife, she's a mom, she's a boss, and most importantly, she looks good doing it. So
Thank you
I'm
so
really
much.
happy. I'm really happy to have Michelle here, just to kind of talk about her experiences as a mother, her fashion sense, and also how has the space opened up, or rather changed, to kind of fit mothers. So thank you, Michelle, for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation to chat with you, and I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. It was funny. I remember when I reached out to you, I was like, I can't wait for us to yap.
Yes,
Because I feel like
literally.
we need a good yap session.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
So to kind of start off, like tell us like a little bit about yourself and like what you do and like your day to day.
Yeah, definitely. So like you said, I am a wife. I am a mother. I have two children. My son is 4 and my daughter just turned 2, which is insane. I know we're talking about that too, which is insane. But professionally, like you said, I am a talent manager. So I do work at a influencer marketing agency called Agency Cliquish. And I do manage influencers. So I help them with like their strategy, their careers overall, help with brand deals, all of the things. So yeah, that's pretty much a bit about me.
So
yeah.
It sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's good work. It's good work, and it's especially good because our agency is focused on specifically Black talent. So I love just being able to support our people and to continue to help like grow and help them pretty much grow and develop their careers as influencers.
Okay, that's awesome. So do you get the opportunity to work with them like closely as far as like closing these brand deals?
Yeah, actually, I'm the ones I'm like negotiating the deals on their behalf.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm able to ensure that the deals are right for them, making sure that it's in line. I give my recommendations, but I am the one going back and forth with the brands to ensure that they are getting what they deserve.
Okay, great. So how did you get into this space?
Oh man. So how did I get into this space? I would say with influencer marketing in particular, I first started off, but I was more on like the gifting side. So if you're an influencer, you've heard of like getting giftings from brands. It's pretty much like complimentary products. So I was on more so that side, and I actually focused on Black influencers as well, specifically in the natural hair space. And then I was able to grow and develop my career and end up on the brand side. So from that point, I was like serving as the middleman between the brand and the influencer. And then now I'm on the talent manager side, where now I'm working directly with the influencers. And like I said, communicating closely with them, but also ensuring that the brands are getting what they need as well from these opportunities and these deals.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So like, do you feel like it's giving you like some flexibility, especially being a mom?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thankfully, I work from home. So I am able to work from home. I am able to have all of my meetings at home, which is great. I really appreciate that. I can say when I was pregnant with my first child, Brayden, I actually was still in office. Yeah, I was actually still in office at that point, not at this job, but just still in office. And it literally was when COVID was just kicking off. I was pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I thought like, it was like, oh my gosh, these people are kind of freaking out. This is like, whoa, this is a lot. And then it was like, oh no, this is truly a lot. So yeah, so I'm grateful that, and then from there I was able to transition working from home again.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm grateful for that. That definitely helps.
So that's really cool. So like you got pregnant at the height of COVID.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
what was that like?
My son is not a COVID baby.
Okay.
He was conceived before COVID.
Okay. She said, let me make that distinction.
To make the distinction, but he was technically born during COVID, 2020.
Okay, awesome. So was he planned?
Was he planned? He wasn't planned, but he wasn't not planned.
Okay. So
I'll let you guys read between the lines.
Okay. So like, what are some of like the big emotions that you felt the minute you got pregnant or like around that time?
Oh man, I think I was just not in shock, but I was like, oh my gosh, like this is legit. Like this is happening. Like this is the next level of our marriage, our life together, adulthood. So I was like, wow. And you know me, I was like, wow. This is it. This is it.
This is real life.
This is real life. This is real life. So
Okay.
that's pretty much how.
Okay, awesome. So at that point, do you feel like, okay, I'm pregnant, right? Do you feel like, okay, I have a vision, I have a plan? Because I know you, Michelle, like you're very type A. So how did that work? Like what was like your vision, or how did it look in terms of pregnancy?
Oh man, that's a great question. I definitely was on my P's and Q's. I tried to be on my P's and Q's as much as possible. Of course, like, taking my prenatals, my appointments, making sure I was always on time for those, getting insights. We also had a doula as well, which was great and definitely helpful because it was our first pregnancy. So it was nice to get those insights from someone professional in the space outside of any of our caretakers in the hospital. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much went through, of course, because it was during the height of COVID, I was also still very nervous. Especially again, being my first pregnancy. My husband, Brandon, was only able to come with me to like 1 or 2 appointments. And then it was like every other appointment I was by myself.
Yeah.
Which was definitely kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, I just tried to do my part. I tried to eat as right as I could. I tried to move my body. I definitely there was a point towards the end of the pregnancy where we were like regularly like walking around our apartment building to make sure I got that blood flow going, that stimulation. But yeah, I'll say that's it. I mean,
awesome.
Yeah.
So like speak to having a doula. So like you mentioned having a doula, right?
Yes.
And it's cool because I recently became one. So I'm like really excited to be on this journey.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like the doula or hiring one, how do you feel like it helped with you during that process?
Yeah, I think the doula definitely helped because we were able to get some insight and I feel like inside information about kind of just like the birthing process in general. I also felt very supported. Of course, I got supported from like my family, of course, from Brandon, my husband. But it was nice to get that other layer of support and just knowing that there was going to be someone there in the room that knew what was going on. Because I know Brandon didn't know what he was getting himself into.
Do they ever?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe after the first time. After the first time, they're like, all right, I think I got an idea of what's going on here. And I had a doula for for Brielle as well, my daughter.
Okay.
But she wasn't able to make it in time for the birth because she was delivered so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I'd highly recommend doulas. Highly recommend it. I think I think it's worth it.
No, I think I would agree too. I think now they're becoming a little bit more like popularized. I think before it was like you heard of like what a doula was,
right?
But you didn't know what they did. You just heard that they would just show up and then you'd be like, okay, cool. Like this person has a doula.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your birth experience because you said that Brielle came really quickly. So how did that birth experience differ with your first child versus your second one?
Okay. So I would definitely say for Brayden, so I delivered both of my children vaginally. I wasn't able to get an epidural for both of them.
Pause.
Keep my wording too. I wasn't able to get it. It's not that I didn't want to get it. I wasn't able to get it. I didn't get it in time for Brayden. My plan was to get an epidural for sure. But by the time it was go time and I was like, wait, where's the epidural? And I was literally talking to my sister-in-law who's a nurse and she was like, she told Brandon, she was like, no, you have to literally ask them now. And they were like, it's too late. We're already in there. So you got to do it. And I was like, I remember I was like, no. What do you mean? What do you mean? They were like, it's too late. Push. And the doctor was like, just relax, stop screaming, push. And I was like, okay, and here we go. But it was great that my doctor for Brayden, it was a Black woman. So I love that as well. I definitely love the care that I got for both of my birthing experiences, which is great. I'm very, very grateful for that. So that was Brayden. So he was delivered in a day.
Okay.
And then Brielle was it escalated very quickly.
Okay, so it's quicker than that.
It was super quick.
Okay.
I literally, if I left maybe 15 to 20 minutes after, I probably would have given birth to her in the car.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yes.
So you were just ready to go. Like
it wasn't me. She was ready.
She was ready. Yeah.
She was ready to go. She was born on her due date. Like and it matches her personality now. I see it.
I love a girl who's on time. She said,
listen, today's the day you gave me. I'm going to be here. Simply put.
I have arrived.
Yes, literally.
That is so cool. Because here I was thinking that Michelle was like, you know what? I'm going to do unmedicated.
Oh, no.
I'm going to do a vaginal birth. She said, I didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
I didn't have a choice. And then I know people would ask me like, oh, do you think that you're going to get an epidural for Brielle? And I was like, I mean, I already did it the first time. So I guess I should be fine. But yeah, things escalated quickly.
Okay, cool. Like, what would you say your postpartum experience was like with Brayden versus Brielle?
So let me think about this. So the biggest thing I would say that was the difference for me was actually breastfeeding. That was the biggest difference. So for Brayden, it was a little bit of a struggle. And it actually is so funny because it matches his personality now. Brayden does not have patience. He does not have patience. He's like, listen, what I want it now. and you could tell me to wait, I'm going to wait for a few seconds and I'm going to say I want it now. So for him, there was a little bit more of a struggle with like latching and things of that nature. So I try to do what I can, but it didn't last too long. And I remember beating myself up because it was my first experience again. So in my mind, I was like, okay, naturally, this should be easy. I should just be able to produce milk. We move on, we keep it pushing. It is what it is. But after having him, I learned, I'm like, it's not natural for everyone. It doesn't come as naturally for everyone. And it also depends on the child as well. So with him, I tried to do the best that I could. But for Brielle, she had more patience. I was able to breastfeed her. So I got up to 6 months. Was it 6 months? Yeah, about 6 to 7 months breastfeeding her. And it still was difficult. It was difficult for me. So I would say postpartum, that's what bothered me a lot because I was like, man, why is this something that just doesn't feel as like instinctive? But I learned that that's okay. It's okay. You can do what you can. And if you're unable to, that's okay. As long as your child is fed and nourished and healthy, that's the goal. So I would say that was like my biggest difference. I was fortunate enough to have my mother help me as well. So she came and supported us quite a bit. So I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest difference postpartum wise between the two of them. And then what else can I say? I'm trying to think. Yeah. I also feel like my body changed more with Brielle. How can I put this? I was able to lose weight faster with Brielle afterwards. And maybe it was because of the breastfeeding. I know it's another thing that they say too. But I just feel like, I don't know. I felt like I got myself to a place with Braden where I was like, okay, I feel like more like myself. I look good. And then I got pregnant again. And I was like, okay, here we go again. It's a setup. It's a setup. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like community was really big here, right? So you mentioned how your mom was like really integral in, in your postpartum journey. So like how important was community for you?
Oh man, community is so, so important. I think it's really important to get support as a new mother. And if you're unable to, just try to find that community of people that you trust. It's so much that you go through that you may not even feel like you were completely prepped for. Everybody has a different birthing experience too. So you may walk in thinking it's going to be one way and then it's completely different. So I think having a community around you, people that, again, you trust is so key. But because there are times where I remember just feeling super emotional. There are so many things that you're processing. It's this new child. It's the attachment of the child onto you. You may have certain resentment towards your spouse or your partner because they're able to just, to you, feel like they're just living their life like nothing changed. And you're like, oh my gosh, my body changed. Mentally, I changed. I have this new commitment in my life. So I think it's important to have the right people around you to encourage you, to support you, to be there for you, and to help throughout that process. Yeah.
That's very important. So I think like, what would you say if you were to give someone advice, I'm like, okay, aside from community, what is one thing that you don't want to bog yourself down on feeling bad about yourself?
I would say feeling like you are going to snap back, and not even snap back just physically, mentally, to who you were before you had children. Don't give yourself the pressure to immediately feel like, okay, had this baby is out. It's time for me to go back to who I was before. You're not that person anymore.
Understood.
You're not that person.
So let's rewind a little bit, right? Because as we mentioned before, you are in the fashion space and you be dressing it down all the time. Listen, I know Michelle's trying to be humble, but listen, if there's one thing that she's going to do is eat. Okay. So Michelle eats all the time.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So like, how do you feel like your style changed from before being pregnant, while you're pregnant? Because you were definitely giving the maternity looks.
Thank you.
And then postpartum.
Oh, okay. Before I was pregnant, I feel like that was fine. I didn't have a care in the world. Everything was together. Everything was in place. That's how it was. I would say, and you said during pregnancy as well. During pregnancy, of course, I had to adapt. I did feel like I had my style spark when I was pregnant with Brielle. I felt like I wanted to dress up. I wanted to show my style. I still wanted to dress up the bump. So I feel like more of my pregnancy looks were shown with Brielle versus Braden. Maybe because it was COVID too. We were inside. So I was like, girl, what's going on? But then afterwards, I can say there was clearly a change. My body changed. And I'm grateful that everyone's like, oh, Michelle, you snap back. And I'm like, you guys feel that way, but I know what I look like and how I felt like before. And I know my body has changed. So of course, naturally as a woman, there are times where I look at myself and I'm like, dang, only if, like I could just get back to, but that's okay. There are new marks, there are new stretch marks, there are new things that are on my body now. But I was able to, and I'm grateful that I was able to birth two healthy children. So, I mean, if that's the change, that's the change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just rolling with it. And I say I just dress for my body. I know and I prioritize what makes me feel the most confident. And if something doesn't make me feel confident, I don't have time to beat myself up. I know that that's not the look for me. Like if it's something super fitted and I don't feel right, I'm like, you know what? There's no point in me saying, oh, look at me. I don't feel this. I don't feel that. I just shift and change into something else and make sure I feel good, because for me, I love feeling confident in the clothes that I'm wearing.
That's good, because I think what ends up happening is that I hear that from my clients often, where they're saying like, I don't know how to dress up this new body. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because it is a new body. Yeah. So for them to kind of like understand that, okay, like my body's gonna look like I had a baby because it just did, right? Or maybe, or even years down the line, it's gonna show remnants of that because I am a mother. So I think it's good to have that conversation and to kind of tell people that like, just wear what makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
And I'm sure that's easier said than done, right?
Yeah, it's easier said than done, especially when you may have things internally. Like, for example, for me, I experienced diastasis recti, right? And that's when your abdomen has not fully closed. So you kind of have that separation. So for me, I had to like go to pelvic floor therapy. I had to do some of those things just to kind of help that. And I actually need to do a better job of continuing to do those exercises. And that's something that I literally, every time I see one on Instagram, I save it, because I'm like, I need to get back to doing those exercises consistently. And that's a thing that I had to learn, and I had to adapt to, because I'm like, okay, my abdomen looks a little different now. Let's make sure we dress to feel the most confident in this space. And then hopefully I get back to the place where it does heal and close completely. But if it doesn't, at least I know how to dress myself, this new body, this experience that I've endured pretty much.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you like one last question.
Okay.
So what piece of advice would you give new mothers in this space? Like, what advice would you give them, or what advice do you wish someone had told you?
Oh, that is such a good question. What advice would I give them? I think I would go back to community. I would definitely say if there's anyone you can lean on, please lean on them, because it's a lot. We go through so much, from carrying the child to delivering the child to everything that comes with it. It's literally a full-time job. I literally say I clock out of my W-2 and I clock in to my job at home with my kids. So it's a full-time job. So I think it's important to just make sure that you are being supported, again, by someone that you trust. If there's anyone you can lean on, talk to, if you ever want a moment to just step away, be by yourself for a little bit. Don't feel like you have to be able to do everything on your own, or don't feel like it's a bad thing if you're like, listen, I don't want to be with anyone right now. I love my kids. I love my husband. I love my spouse, but I need a moment away. I think it's important to ask for those moments, and hopefully receive them, because I think, again, postpartum could be a beast. Postpartum could be a beast. It affects everyone differently. And I really feel for mothers who say that they experience postpartum depression and things of that nature, because it's just so much to have to deal with something that's taking a toll on you mentally, physically, the lack of sleep, the breastfeeding. It's a lot. So I would definitely say lean on community. And again, don't feel like you have to take on everything yourself. It's okay to be vulnerable and to share that you are in a certain place. And I'm grateful that I was able to be vulnerable with my family, with my husband, and to just share when I'm in those moments where I'm just like, listen, if you're from Miami, I'm grits.
Grits, big grits.
And that essentially means like, I'm just not in a good space right now. Okay. I'm not in a good space. So yeah, that's what I would say. I'm gonna have to take everything on. It's a very big responsibility. And I think we all need those moments to just understand that we are people. We need that time to just process, recalibrate, and, be able to have our cup filled, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for this conversation. Yeah. Thank you for coming and just being vulnerable and sharing. And also, we got a chance to finally catch up. It's been a while.
In person, it's been a little minute.
It has been a minute. Yes. So hopefully this won't be the last time that you're on the show. Please, I want to have a part 2. just to kind of dive in a little bit more on maybe even giving some tips on like, how do you style yourself? Like, how do you create a new identity, or how do you shift your style so that way you don't have to sacrifice just like basically like not dressing like yourself. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I think you're doing such a great work with this podcast. Congrats again on becoming a doula. And I just can't wait to see everything that you're able to accomplish with everything in life.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.